Page 29, Japanese fan. Well, look at this mess. Let's see what we got going on here. Sometimes music looks kind of ugly, but when you get into it and you start working it out, you find out it's not so bad. Sometimes. Sometimes you find out it really is ugly, but other times not so bad. We're simply using the sharp, the flat, and the natural, all three accidentals in the same piece. The new note there at the bottom half of the page, that's for the next lesson. I'll talk about that in the next video. And just a little bit about music notation here in this Japanese fan thing. Generally, when you're going to go up the keyboard like this, every note, when you go up, they'll use sharps as they go up. So you see at the beginning of this, you have the D, and then the D sharp to the E. We went up, so they use a sharp. When you go down, they'll generally use flats. There. And so sure enough, after the E, to go back down, they use a flat. So they use sharps going up and flats coming down. Give you an idea. The natural sign is needed in the middle of the measure because we've already got a flat, and if you didn't have the natural sign there, it would be another E flat. And then you'd have a D sharp, which is actually the same note on a piano. They're both the same note. So all we're doing is going from here. It's really all that's doing. But they're giving you different finger numbers. So let's go back now and let's look the piece over. And then we'll figure out what we can do with these finger numbers. It's 2 lines long. Draw in a thick bar line there at the end, so it's a thin and thick bar line. Treble and bass clef. 1 sharp in the key signature, so we're in the key of G major. It doesn't matter if there are any F's in the piece or not. In the key of G major, we got to have the sharp in the key signature. And the 4/4 time signature. And then we got eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, whole notes. We're all there. The gang's all here. Right hand first. Now let's talk about this multiple fingers. They got finger numbers stacked up here. Well, music does this sometimes. An author or the composer or an editor, they give you choices. They say finger it one way or finger it another way. Here, they're telling you you can have a 2 here and do a 3. So you're here. So we'd like to use the same note on the black key as we did on the white key, but it doesn't work in this kind of case because we want to connect the notes and we can't. So we do that. Or you can use the bottom sets of finger numbers, and it's here. 1, 2. And you're in this position, sort of. I would encourage you to try them both. You need to be able to do either one. However, for this lesson, I'm going to use the top line. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to use that. Here. So I'm sort of in this position. I have a G at the end. I need that. There is no F in this for the right hand. If there were, it'd be an F sharp. It'd be this position. But there are none, so it's actually here. According to the notes in the piece, then those are where the hand goes. It's not exactly a nice clean 5-finger position, but you're going to find a lot of music doesn't give you a nice clean 5-finger position. You have to adjust it slightly. Okay. So the right hand, I'm going to go 1 and 2 and. And again, if you're confused about these accidentals, then let's look at them more closely. You have a D and a D sharp, and you have an E. Then you have an E flat, same note. Now a D natural, and again they need the natural sign there because you already had a D sharp in that measure, so it would still be a D sharp if you didn't. Then a D sharp, and then an E, and you need the natural sign in front of the E because we had an E flat earlier in the measure. So it would be an E flat if they didn't put in the natural sign. So each one of these notes, most of them, need some accidental in them. That's all that is for doing. So suddenly this ugly looking thing is just this. Now in the last 2 measures, you're here. And then here. On G. Left hand, we got 2 note chords. We're 4 and 2. So we're in this position. And you don't need any of the finger numbers for the left hand. That's it. You're not moving around. You're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then two measures later. 1. You get the idea? Put the hands together. We're here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's really all it is. It's just real slowly you put the hands together and then go through and get rid of the hesitations and see if you can get to where you can play this without looking at the keyboard. We need to develop that feel for where these white and black keys are. Then we can think about the interpretation. The natural accents are the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Where are those? 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. I exaggerate them so you can hear them better, but really you just want to feel them. It's like in the left hand, the half note's just a hair louder than the quarter note because it comes on a natural accent. So you feel the natural accents, and then we can think about the phrasing. Well, the melody's in the right hand, and there's no words, so we have to listen for the sentences. So the musical thoughts. So in my mind, it's like every two measures is a phrase. So I'm going to lift up like taking a breath. Lift up. Just like you have to lift up. It's the same note, but this is a little longer lift. It's like taking a breath, and to me that would be the phrasing. As far as the speed goes, it has to be accurate, and the eighth notes need to be even and controlled. Don't go faster than that. We don't. They're all. That's a mess. You can play like that when there's nobody around listening to it, but learn to play this accurately, even and controlled. Something like that. And remember to bring out that melody. It's the right hand. The right hand's going to be a little heavier. The left hand chords are going to be very light. Here. Try and get them down at the same time. I don't all the time, but maybe you can. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms to make sure we have all that. I'm going to play both hands about the same. We're going to go fairly slow. It's slow for me anyway. I'll give us 4 counts. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1 and 4 and 1 and 4 and 4 and 2, 3, 4 off.